StrayAllDay.com.
You are now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. Dre, what is that? That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques all underneath the umbrella of one unified philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is part 3 of our ongoing series, How Winners Think. I'm taking you right into the mindset of a winner. If you are a winner, then these are the mindsets you should have installed and part of your normal modus operandi. If not, then you need to get them installed ASAP. But before I get into that, I'll remind you of two things. First of all, my daily motivation and Monday motivation messages guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point to start your day, your week, respectively. As soon as we start sending that message out again, you'll be getting it straight to your phone. Just text me my number, which is 305-384-6894. Again, so when you send a message now, you may not get immediate response if we haven't started sending it again. But as soon as we do, you'll be getting that straight to your phone again. That number down below in the description. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. This is the place where you get coached by me directly. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where these things that you hear here on this show start to get applied specifically and directly to you, your situation, and what you are doing without fail. All right, if that sounds like what you know you need right now, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. That link is down below in the description to this episode. Picking up right where we left off. Again, we are picking up on part 3 now of our ongoing, what will be a 6-part series, How Winners Think. Point number 7. Number 7, I use and plug into structures that produce discipline, and that discipline produces confidence. I think we all can agree that if I tell you somebody's a winner and then I ask you, how confident do you think this person is? I think most of you would agree that a winner usually has a high level of confidence. Will we agree? That most winners have a high level of confidence, at least when it comes to the thing that they're winning at. I think generally we would agree to that. Now, here's what you need to understand. Confidence comes from discipline, and discipline comes from structure. So the mindset of the winner is not just that they're confident, because it's hard to just be confident randomly from nothing, but the mindset is I plug into structures because the structures produce discipline and the discipline produces confidence. And the winner understands this. Therefore, they're willing to plug into structures and they're willing to submit to a structure / system / process in order to get that discipline, which leads to the confidence. Every winner is usually pretty confident, as we just said. But it's not because they were just born that way or that they have some special talent or luck on their side that you don't have access to. That is not the reason why winners are confident. Winners are confident because they are plugged into structures that produce discipline, and discipline produces the confidence. As I just said, there's a formula to this winning thing. All right, winning has a formula. Winning is not luck. Winning is not some random thing that occurs, especially over an extended period of time. Can somebody win by luck one time or even twice? Yes. But can someone win over an extended period of time just off of luck? No, they cannot. Without a structure and a process, no one can win consistently. Not a business, not a person, not a country, nobody. No entity can win consistently without a process or a structure to follow. Everybody wants to be confident, but I find fewer numbers of people who want to be structured and disciplined. Shall I say that one again? Everybody wants to be confident, but I find much fewer numbers of people who want to be structured and disciplined. Here's the problem. You can't be confident without structure and discipline. This is the reason why so many people want confidence, yet lack confidence, because they don't want to follow the formula. Many people are not willing, or they simply have not paid the price or done the work that leads to confidence. If you are a winner, you pay the price and you do the work. All right. The cost of winning is discipline. I have told you right here in this point what the price and the work are. And if you haven't paid that price and you haven't done the work, then there should be, no surprise as to why you haven't gotten the outcomes that you want. But there is a price to pay if you want to be a winner, ladies and gentlemen. The good news is nobody's in the dark as to what the price is. Again, let me say it again. Everyone wants to be confident, but few people want to be structured and disciplined. And this is the reason why many people are wanting confidence and not having it, because they have no discipline. So good news is you can fix this problem, because I just told you what the problem is, and now you can do something about it. What did we just talk about? Problems have solutions. Point number 8. We're talking here today about how to be a winner. This is an ongoing 6-part series. Number 8, I do not talk down on or negatively to myself. I do not talk down on or negatively to myself. Winners do not do this. This is one of the most self-destructive habits that a lot of human beings have. And the problem with a habit, especially a mental one, is first of all, being mental, you can't see it. And secondly, it being a habit is that you're completely unaware and unconscious of the fact that you're doing it, which means you are negatively talking down to and about yourself all the time, such that you don't even realize that it's happening, yet it is strongly affecting you. And you can't even see that it's happening because it's mental. You can't see mindset. Now, if you were physically doing something that was physically hurting your body, you could see that, damn, my knee is messed up. Damn, my head hurts. Damn, my arm is bleeding. But see, you can't see your mindset. So our bad mental habits are more pernicious and more damaging than our bad physical habits. The bad physical habit, you can see and feel the outcome of it. A bad mental habit, you can't see anything. You can see if you keep eating ice cream and drinking alcohol and binging on fried chicken and French fries, that your stomach is getting wider and wider, and you're getting that fat in the back of your arms, and your face is filling out in ways that you don't want it to. You can see that happening. You can physically see it. Doesn't mean you're gonna do anything, but at least you can see it. See, if you have bad mental habits, you can't see anything. And that's why the mindset is so important, because it's intangible. But it doesn't mean its effects are intangible. Its effects are real. And I think all of you can agree to that. So talking down negatively on yourself is one of the worst habits that human beings have, because you're destroying yourself from the inside out. And everything starts with mindset. Your actions are a reflection of the way you think, and your outcomes are a reflection of the things you do. So if your mindset is crappy and you're beating yourself up mentally, then it doesn't matter what the rest of the world does, because you're doing more damage to you than anybody else could ever do. And by the way, the biggest damage that any of us does to ourselves, the biggest damage that any of us has done to ourselves, is stuff that we do, not stuff other people do. I don't care if you have the most negative people around you, living in your house, sleeping in the same bed as you. They do not hurt you nearly as much as you hurt yourself with your own thoughts. Doesn't matter what they say, because you don't have to accept it. But what you say, you accept all of it. What you say to yourself is 100 times more impactful than anything that anybody else says to you, positively or negatively. And if someone else says something negative to you, if your mind is already set in a certain way and what they say does not jibe with what is already in your mind, then it will be immediately rejected. That's the way the subconscious works. But if someone says something to you that connects and tethers to something that is already in your mind, especially the subconscious accepts it and amplifies it, only because you have something in you that already agrees with it. So when someone says something negative to you and it continues to bother you, there must be something in your mind that already believed it. It's not them, the negative person who says something to you. No, it's you. It's something in you that already agreed with it. That's why it got amplified in your mind. That's why it's still bothering you, because you already had some garbage in there. And it just found some garbage to connect to. It didn't place the garbage. Someone says something negative to you, they're not placing garbage in your mind. They're looking for a cousin in your mind of the garbage that they're giving you. And if there's no relative in there, then that garbage is immediately discarded and kicked out. Meaning whatever that person says just bounces right off you as if it didn't even happen. But if it sticks to you, that means there was something in there that it connected to. Period. There are no exceptions. So I'm giving you all that frame to help you understand that there's nothing anybody else can say to you that can really bother you that much, unless you already believe it on some level. So we talked in an earlier episode about what all personal and professional development experts agree on, the things that they all agree on. Let me see if I can tell you that episode. That was episode number, where is it? Episode number 3085, just a couple weeks ago. What they all agree on, read personal and professional growth. And the one of the things that they all agree on is that you should never allow yourself to talk or think negatively about or towards yourself. And there is no positive benefit to doing this ever. There are 0 positive benefits to talking negatively about or to yourself. Did everybody hear that? Let me say it again. There are 0 positive benefits to talking negatively to or about yourself, period. So if you are doing it, then you are basically committing malpractice against your own success. Winners do not do this. Winners do not fight against themselves. They fight against the outside world and their opponents, but they don't make an opponent of themselves. And when you talk bad about yourself, you're making an opponent out of yourself. Winners don't do this, even when circumstances are at their worst. If they happen to catch themselves doing it, they immediately reject the negative thinking and replace it with 5 positive thoughts to flush out the negative immediately. Winners do not dwell on negative energies. They do not dwell on negative emotions. They do not allow the negativity of others to enter their internal chambers. That's one of the reasons that they're winners. Everything that happens to a winner, they turn it into a positive, first with their mindset, then with their actions. They look at a way that they can change the situation to their liking, even if the situation is completely not what they wanted, even if it's not what they even wanted to have to deal with. They figure out a way to turn it in the direction that they want it to be. I brought up Michael Jordan first 2 episodes of this series. Let me bring him up again. When the Bulls were losing, Michael Jordan had established himself in the late 80s as one of the best players in the NBA. Many players like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were saying Michael was clearly the best player in the league, while at the same time he wasn't winning any championships. After the Chicago Bulls lost to the Detroit Pistons for a third consecutive year in the playoffs, Michael Jordan, I believe he said this. He was talking to one of the staff guys on the Detroit Pistons while the Bulls were waiting for the team bus to go home. And he saw one of the guys from the Pistons and he said to him, "Man, are we ever going to beat you guys?" And the guy gave him some encouraging words, whatever. And on the bus ride home, this is according to Michael's recount of the situation, he was really pissed off. Pissed off that they hadn't won, pissed that they lost, pissed that maybe his teammates weren't stepping up to the level that he wanted them to. And instead of considering a circumstance that his teammates weren't at a certain level or that he was just a superstar, that he was just too good and everybody else couldn't match him, Michael made a couple decisions. First of all, that he could step it up even further. That's the first decision that he made. It is a very important one. Leaders, catch what I just told you. First decision that he made after he was already recognized generally as the best basketball player on the planet, after they didn't win the championship, again, he said, I can step my game up even more. And the decision that he made then was to decide to get with a personal trainer, a guy by the name of Tim Grover. He wrote a book called Relentless. Some of you may be familiar with it. He went and found this guy. Well, this guy, Tim Grover, kind of found him. Michael gave him a try, and they started working together and built a long-term relationship. He said, I can step my game up, first of all, a little bit more than where it is. That's the first thing he did. The second thing was, as I step my game up, I'm going to push my teammates to step theirs up even further. Because if I'm going to ask them to step their game up, I got to step my game up too, even though relatively he was already better than them. Relatively, he was already better than everybody on his team. But he said, he thought to himself, if I'm going to push, actually, he didn't say this, and actually, I don't even know he thought it, but I'm extrapolating here and telling you the way that I'm seeing it. Since he was going to have his teammates step their games up, he was also going to do exactly what he was telling them to do. He was going to step his own game up. Again, even though he's already better than them. He said, I'm still going to step it up. Because I'm going to ask you to do it, I'm going to do it. And if you watch the Last Dance documentary, one of the things that Michael said in that episode where he got emotional, I believe it was like episode 7 out of 9 or 10 episodes, where he's talking about how he pushed his teammates and he had to take a break from being on camera because he started to get emotional. One of the things that he said was, I never pushed any of my teammates to do anything that I didn't do. And this is the exact point that I'm making here. He was pushing them to step it up, but he was going to step it up too. Again, although everyone had already said he's the best. How someone who's already the best needs to step it up? This is a way of thinking, folks. This is the point. Winners think this way. And he never talked down on himself, or at least not that we know of. And if he did, he immediately canceled out that negative thought with positive thinking. Everybody sometimes has a negative thought about themselves or their circumstance or their situation, even the people who are the best. But as soon as we catch ourselves doing it, we immediately fix the situation. We don't allow one negative thought to become 2 or 10 or 30. And that's what many people do. People who end up not winning, you allow one negative thought to become a whole day's worth or a whole month's worth of negative thought. And before you know it, you're in a therapist's office, laying on the couch and free associating what's been going on in your mind. Simply because you allow one negative thought to become 2, 10, and 30. Winners don't allow this. They do not allow negativity of others or themselves to enter their internal chamber, also known as your subconscious mind. Everything that happens to a winner, they turn it into a positive, first with their way of thinking, then with their behaviors. Moving on to point number 9. Today's topic, once again, is how winners think. Number 9, I direct and control my emotions rather than letting them direct and control me. Winners direct and control their emotions rather than allowing their emotions to direct and control them. Understand the winners are masters at controlling their emotions, as things can get crazy out there in the world of winning. Tim Grover, by the way, also wrote another book called Winning. He might have more by now, but I know he has those too. Winners is not that they are dispassionate completely. It's not that they have no emotions, because we're talking about human beings here. All human beings have emotions. Some of us are more directed by our emotions than others. And some of us tend to wear our emotions on our sleeves more than others. And some of us are more easily emotionally triggered than others. So we all have different levels of this. However, winners have some things in common. I'm talking about that in this series. Winners understand that they are competing against circumstances sometimes against other people, and everything else that may get in your way when you decide that you're going to be a success. The first thing that happens when you decide you're going to be a success is you're going to face challenges, because success wants to know if you're serious about this or you're just dabbling. So any of you who's decided to become successful and then things immediately got harder than they were, there's the reason. All right, success wants to know, are you for real or are you just talking shit? If you're just talking shit, then the challenges will shut you down and send you back to where you came from. And if you're serious, then you'll deal with the challenges. So out there in the world of winning, again, things can get a little bit crazy. It's not always a smooth process. You're competing against all these different things. Now, here's what you got to remember. Emotions are great gas pedals, but they're terrible steering wheels, which means they should never be in control of your process. You never want your emotions to be in control of your process. You never want your emotions to be at the head of the table in the decision-making room. Emotions can have a say, but they are mostly used as a tool. They are not the decision maker. They are not the craftsman. They are the tool, if you understand what I'm saying. Your logic and rational thinking is the craftsman. Your emotions are the tool, meaning you use your emotions when you need them, and when you're done with them, you put them back on the shelf. But logic and rational thinking are what make the decisions as to what is going to happen and how it's going to happen. Then you use your emotion as necessary to drive things where they need to go. It's kind of like you use a hammer to drive the nail in, but you don't let the hammer decide where the nail goes, because the hammer could just put a nail anywhere, because all a hammer is capable of is driving in nails. So you use the hammer when you need it, but you don't let the hammer tell you when it wants to be used. You decide. And when it doesn't need to be used, you tell it shut the hell up and you put it on the shelf. That's the same way that your logic should use your emotions. Winners have to be in the emotional management business. I don't care how emotional of a person you are. I don't give a damn what therapist or mental health person you listen to on TikTok. Emotions will pull you out of the game that you're supposed to be in. So you must learn how to control your emotions. Again, it's not having emotions. You have to learn to control your emotions. Winners control their emotions. They learn to channel their emotional energy, because there's energy in emotions, and energy is 85% of the job in life. So again, I'm not telling you not to have them. They learn to channel the energy of emotions towards the direction that they want the energy to go, not the direction that the emotion wants to go, the direction that they want the emotion to go. That's what winners do. This is a mental game. So emotions are never in control of the process. They do get acknowledged, and then they get directed and told what to do. All right, I see you there. Now I'm going to tell you where to go, what to do, when to be quiet, and when to talk. That's what you do with your emotions. That's how you control them. So you make the decision that makes the most sense for you to actually win, not the decision that makes the most sense for the emotion to feel it's being acknowledged. That's not the game that we're in. And again, what's the goal? The goal is winning. Remember what this series is about, the way that winners think. Not the way emotional people think, not the way that empaths think, the way that winners think. So everything I'm telling you here in this series is about you being in the mindset of winning, not the mindset of anything else. Cars have one steering wheel. So the steering wheel in this series is about winning. Everything else is secondary. So once you learn to control your emotions, you can utilize them as they are best used for, which is energy. All right. Emotions have energy in them. Energy is a big part of the job. That energy gets directed by your rational thinking, never anything else. Recapping today's class, which is the next part in our ongoing series of how winners think. Point number 7, I use and plug into structures that produce discipline, and that discipline produces confidence. Every winner is confident because they are structured and because they are disciplined, not because of some luck or some magic formula that you don't know about. I just gave you the formula, and it's not magic. Number 8, I do not talk down on or negatively to myself. Winners do not make their situation worse and more challenging by giving themselves negative self-talk. They talk positively to themselves even when the situation is at its worst, and if they catch themselves with a negative thought, they immediately cancel it out with 5 positive thoughts. Number 9, I direct and control my emotions rather than allowing my emotions to direct and control me. Remember that you are in the emotional management business. You must control and manage your emotions at all times. There's a lot of energy in emotions. So I'm not telling you that emotions are bad. I'm telling you that emotions just need to be controlled and directed. Same way that you would control and direct a hammer, or you would control and direct a screwdriver. You don't let them just decide when they want to be used and what they want to do. You tell them when they get used, and you also tell them when their time is up and you need to go sit back on the shelf. All that said, tomorrow we're going to get into the next part of this series. Make sure, all right, you want to learn how to use your tools in the right way and get the most ROI out of them, including your emotions and including your energy, but directing them in the right way that leads to the win that you want to achieve, that you have clearly defined, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Let me help you weigh all of this out, plan all of it out, and then help you execute as your direct coach. That's all at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre, all